Hello, beautiful beings. It's been a while. Yeah, I kind of want to bridge a gap I feel that has been echoing in me. And because it's echoing in me, I feel like it's echoing in the planet. Who's to say which one is true or if they're both true? And this is the gap between play and depth. And I feel within my own being, like talking about the value of play in this channel being called Quantum Play Academy, a lot of the time I feel like a fake. I feel like a hypocrite because most of the time I feel like I'm swimming in depth and it feels really serious. And the nature of like contemplating truth and like what's important in life and like all these things that we must do in order to evolve. And then there's this like knowing the value and the importance of playfulness, of play. And I think this split within me has kept me from creating and expressing for a while, where I'm like, ugh, Quantum Play Academy. Academy with play, really? Like, oh, me, play, talking about play, like journeying with people, saying it's about play and then how deep it goes. It has created like this split inside me where I feel and have felt split. Like I have to choose one or the other. Like I have to focus on one or the other. And when I was sitting now in meditation, what was coming through was that they go together. Play and depth go together. And I feel like it's really important for us to bridge this gap within our own being, not only for ourselves, but for people and for children and for all the future generations and beyond this life even, because to think that it's either or will always feel split, right? Because if I can only be serious and have depth and access truth or be playful, if play has this like superficial connotation to it, or if it's perceived as an egotistical way of being or like not being realistic, not being aware of what's happening in the world, then we don't get to really enjoy the value play and playfulness has within it for our evolution. Now, the more we play, right, we just play with things. I'm just going to play with this idea. I'm just going to play with this possibility. I'm just going to play with this way of being. I'm just going to play pretending I know how to play piano and whoops, I might be better at it than I realize. Like when we play, we access more and more possibility. And as we access more and more possibility through play, it leads to depth. It leads to however we experience that depth, whether it be grief, pain, realizing how we've been limiting ourselves, waking up to the fact of how much impact we have within every moment on all that is. It reveals shadow. Play in a way, as we just play with things, as harmless as it seems, it's a threat to what we think we are, or what we believe the world is, or other people are. And so play is actually quite a dangerous thing to do. Not because it's superficial, not because it's a waste of time, but because it's a threat to safety mechanisms, to stuckness, to stagnancy, to an identity we've created for ourselves, to a relationship we thought was stable, to a job that we felt was enough for a while. So I like seeing play and saying play is like a lubricant. It's like a way to massage patterns A pattern is something that's kind of like sketched and repeated, right? And when we repeat a pattern over and over and over, it makes it matter more. And it becomes more and more matter, more materialized, more dense. When a pattern is repeated over and over, it turns into density, into a prison, into stuckness in a way. And when we try to overtake this pattern with another pattern, or, oh, I'm going to become this, and it just creates more density on that pattern, or like a warlike energy with the pattern of our being, the pattern of our relating, the pattern with the way we move in the world. And that's like matter against matter, like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. Like when we fight matter with matter, it's like hard, it's dense, it creates this experience of density. And so when we just play, I feel like it's a hack when we're like, I'm just going to play with this, I'm just going to play with this. It seems harmless initially because our mind brain doesn't think that it's a threat if we just play. It's like a superficial thing, right? Oh, it's just play, it's just a game. But when we actually have the experience of what play does, it lubricates, it massages, it softens. I like saying the silent T's. It softens, just because I could, the density. And I think we underevaluate, we minimize the power of softness, the power of play. It's like, think of how water molds rocks. It breaks down wood. It's like, oh, it's just water flowing. That's the nature of play. It feels like the element of water to me. And when we just play a little, and that little softening changes the whole pattern, it can be really intimidating to play. And then that's when the stories come of people that are finding themselves stuck, of like, oh, I forgot how to play, I don't know how to play. And then that's passed on to children, right? Oh, you're just playing, like, let's get serious, like, what are you becoming, like, who will you be, like, do your homework. Like, that energy even feels like the playfulness of children are a threat. The children become a threat to our like way of being, or who we thought we were, or our control mechanisms. And it's brutal because then we take the prisons and put them on children. And so this goes really deep. I'm not like bringing this to light just to become more playful. There's like this gap that needs to be merged. That when we play, we access depth that we cannot access without the play. It massages and digs and takes apart patterns and opens us up to infinite possibility, which is quite overwhelming to face how limitless and how many things are possible. When I wake up to this, sometimes I like, I had this story that I don't know how to draw live beings or like sketch things. Like, I don't do that, I don't do that, I don't do that, I don't do that. I know myself, I don't do that. And then I went to a drawing class and I had no idea what to do. Everybody felt like professional artists to me. I'm like, what am I doing in this room? I literally never held a charcoal in my life. And I decided, I'm like, I'm here anyway. I might as well just pretend. I might as well just play as though I am an artist and I know what I'm doing. And my hand began moving and I was shocked because just playing with it as though I knew how to do something got me into an experience where it melted my identification with I just don't do this. I don't do this. I don't know how to do this, into, oh my God, you can do it. You can do it well. You can do it. And it's fun. It's like, oh my God, how many other things do I say I cannot do or cannot be that I'm not accessing because of my own stories? There's a wake-up call in that. The stories we share about the planet and the world or the way things are, there's a certain comfort and safety in knowing what reality is and relating based off what is real with each other. When I wake up to infinite possibility, it is scary. There's grief that can come up, shame, guilt, showing the shadows of our victimhood and how we disempower ourselves. It's like a lot to chew on. And so looking at this, like our judgments or a minimalization of play, of the power and potency of play, of like playing with the children and playing with each other, saying it's a waste of time, that we don't have time for that, that we don't know how to do that. What if that is the thing that's keeping you stuck in the same prison? Prisons feel really safe, right? No interference, this is dense, this is me, I know thyself, I know my reality. But the thing is that when a pattern repeats and loops and loops and loops and loops and loops, it just becomes a big fat zero. It dissolves itself. It's the snake eating its own tail. So it's gonna happen. Not a very pretty picture. And what happens, even if we don't access play and we're just like, I'm just going to be really serious and deep about this game I'm playing, whether that be a spiritual game, I've been through this, like I'm devoting my life to being a healer or spiritual teacher, whatever that identification is, like, oh, there's no time for me to play. It's like, it kills it. So I see the pattern, and then the only thing that is left when a pattern shows itself, reveals itself, it turns into zero, dissolves. We see that shadow in ourselves of like what we thought was so real turns out to be an illusion. And what's left is the cosmic giggle, that playfulness. I have no idea how I would be able to survive another day if I didn't have self-humor. And that self-humor is so key to having compassion, to waking up, to how we're missing the most valuable things in life so innocently together, doing it over and over. And so if we go deep and get all serious, it's undeniable that the playfulness is bound to come in at some point. We're going to have to laugh at ourselves. For worshiping reality is so real. For thinking we know who we are or what we're here to do or be. So play is undeniable, eventually. A dear friend, Clara, when we'd hang out, would say, everything is either fun or funny. And if it's not yet, it will be eventually. When we look back at these serious, like, of course, the seriousness in us will be like, oh, that's not serious. That thing that people are doing in that country, that's serious. Like, that's not funny. That's not, that can't be playful. But when we realize that the playfulness is the key to actually accessing depth, we can be more aware and intentional about getting more malleable before the prison collapses onto us. We can be intentional about playing with our own patterns enough so we can feel safe in our own being with things changing, while we play with structures rather than having structures be a reality that's a prison. And I feel like up till now, through relationship, we've been maintaining realities. Oh, did you hear what happened in the news? Oh, did you hear blah, blah, blah. Oh, this person, blah, 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 this or this is true. Oh, like all these stories through relationship, we're making things matter, amplifying realities that are creating a lot of suffering. In order to what? Be this all-knowing being that knows reality is so real, that we're so responsible and knowledgeable. What is that thing? Like, what does it lead to? Co-creating realities? What do those realities feel good to our children? Do those realities, can they be a bedtime story for a child? If not, then why are we echoing that? In the name of what? Being realistic? So if we access this playfulness with one another through relationship, we can access possibility. We can rest in possibility rather than freaking out on our own, where our whole reality structure dissolves and we're just faced with ourselves. We can begin practicing playing with our perspectives with each other. We can practice dying together. Not physically, I mean letting these realities that we thought were oh so true collapse together and laughing about it. How can we laugh about it? That's a great question to play with. So, the number one way to begin playing as an adult with reality is through playing with our perspectives, our thoughts. Perspectives are our thought patterns or beliefs. And the simplest way to play with this is through playing with question. If we don't know how to play, all you need to do is, rather than saying, I don't know how to play, which is a stagnant perspective, is how do I play again? Being with another person, being like, how do we play again? And sitting in that. A question is like a vessel. When we let our brain, let its job be asking a question that feels like an opening rather than a restriction, we can begin working with our brain, playing with our brain in a way that doesn't abuse it, or allowing the brain to like abuse us, the mind brain. Most of us were brought up in cultures where this managed everything, the mind brain. Like, know your answers, know this, what's for sure, what's the truth, what's reality, be realistic, get 100, get a score, get a log, success, success, success. What do you do? Where do you go? What have you done today? What have you accomplished? What are your goals for the year? Mind, 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 brain, 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 linear, cause, effect, dimension must collapse in our evolution. The mind brain is, in a way, the last brain, because we have the gut brain, we have the heart brain, and then we have the mind brain. And it rests on the heart, and the heart rests on the gut, the digestion of life, of matter. So as we begin playing with our mind brain, that helps collapse this mind maya, illusionary reality that we've all been fed and feeding into, making it matter, materializing these dense realities that are prisons of the mind. And when we play with questions and just sit in them like a bath, like, what if it is possible that you can draw? What if it is possible a miracle will happen soon? Just sitting in it without needing the brain to cultivate an answer. Being like, hey brain, you can just play with this question and ask it over and over and over. Then the answers come through experience, through feeling, through sensation. And that is the language of the heart brain. That's where it's at. Being together in heart coherence and heart brain. Heart brain operates not via thought, it operates through sensation, it operates through feeling, it operates through experience. And so the number one way I would like to leave you today to play with questions that feel expansive. I highly recommend not using why, because why activates more understanding and more mind. In a way, it's like blameful or could lead to endless loops of understanding. So like playing with how, what if. Play with the question in a way that the question itself feels expansive, relieving, and nourishing. Play with one question a day. Simple question. Rather than affirmation, fighting like, I am wealthy. It's more of like, okay, what if I can receive support today? What if I'll receive support today? What if by me being relaxed, I'm accessing wealth? Like, when it comes to questions, we get to access our imagination and our wonder. And if we're not here to wonder and to play, what other way are we going to play life? I really believe, as a perspective artist, that if we play more as a way of life, we get to be more friends with change, continuous change, rather than holding on for consistency and I matter and this matters. We get to be the living, continuous change of celebrating life and surprising ourselves by what we can do and who we can be, who we can relate with, and what's possible together through relationship. What realities can we co-create? Realities. There's enough space for so many beautiful realities. And we don't need to rush to a festival or to a vacation. Like, this is accessible in every moment, no matter who you're around. Even if it's someone you think you know so well. If we just play a little, it shows us how we've always been so infinitely limitless. And then we get to choose what feels good to us, which may be in the next video, is like, in infinite possibility, what do we do? When we know we are infinite, what do we do? What do we choose? So, playing with questions. I want to give an example of like two things that popped up recently when I was visiting family. So there's this sister, we haven't been getting along for a few years, and like I just saw her after a few years. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so serious. There's gonna be like, and instead I was just like, you've been a bitch. I want to wrestle you. And she just started laughing. I'm like, yeah, you've been a bitch. I want to wrestle you. And I like took her hands. She's like, wrestle? How do you wrestle? I'm like, just push. And we like started wrestling like we never did even when we were children. And we laughed, and there was nothing left to talk about. So that was like playing with like, what do you actually want to experience now? I want to laugh with my sister. How can I laugh with my sister? I'm going to wrestle her. Never done that before. But when playfulness is a way of a way to be, a way to live, when we live in question, we can experience answers. We can experience solution through relationship. We can be better space holders for the children who are here to lead evolution, really. Rather than being burdened parents, we may be witnesses of wonder, of the wonder that the children bring. Another thing is like, I was with my nephews, and I really wanted to play with them. They were getting really wild. I'm like, okay, let's go into the room. And I realized they wanted to feel intensity. And so they wanted to feel like they had all these soldier dolls and they had all these like avatar things. I'm like, oh, they want to experience intensity. They want to experience like whatever they think war is or whatever, right? And so I was like, everybody, all the troops, get in line, da, da. And they were focused because I took on all the help. I said yes and did their energy. I'm like, they just want to play. It's like innocent, right? So bringing in, I'm like, this feels good to me too. Like, oh no, they're coming for us. And like they organized like troops. And what happened was, when I was okay with them playing with whatever I have resistance to, which is like war, fighting, weapons, like they have these dolls, right? They were focused on building structures and other kinds of things. They were just there to have the energy move, or like want that intensity of the life force moving through them to move in a creative way. It wasn't even about the war energy that I was seeing. Like, oh no, they better not play a war game, right? And then it made me realize that, like, really, it's sad to say, but like, I'm not gonna say whatever I thought I needed to say. What I'll say is that even the most horrific things happening in the world is because people are playing and they forgot that they're always playing. Hello, hello.